to for the presentation. I know it's a little small for Google Hangouts, but it's in the chat. It's open to everybody. So if you click on the link, it should pop up in another tab, and you'll be able to sort of see the presentation that I have here. So, Mr. Chan, if you want to go to the next slide, I want to just give you the agenda for today. So the agenda pretty much, big thing, we're not in the building, so the communication challenges are always always going to be a challenge. So if you notice in the bottom, in the footer of the presentation, you're going to see my name and email. Right next to it, you're going to see Ms. Rouse's name, email, and phone number that you can call her directly. Please only call her between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Please don't use that phone after 4 because that's sort of, that's her personal time. But definitely send me an email. I'm there. I would like to give my phone number, but what I learned is that pretty much the phone calls go directly to me, and there's other people that we have on staff that can handle and answer the question, and you sort of waste time by sort of calling me and then to call the next person, so on and so forth. So definitely call Ms. Rouse. She can definitely get you to anywhere that you need to get to. On the school website is all the directories there as well. We're anchored to emails, so the Westinghouse email or the DOE is there. So definitely, feel free to use that. So that's the agenda for today, and so we're going to talk about communication, which is pretty much the phone number I mentioned. Updates on parent-teacher conferences, which have been occurring. Grading policy changes, the Regents changes, a couple of minor changes which shouldn't really affect us. The new warning that's on the website, Ms. C. Senior meeting, which is occurring tomorrow, talking about a little bit of student work, just to give you guys a little overview of what the kids are doing, and technology requests, and then we'll open up for question and answers afterwards. Okay, Mr. Chan, next slide, please. Okay, so like I mentioned, the links are in there. The bell schedule is there. We're asking your children to, be present and engage between 9 and 12:20. That's the time when the live instruction is occurring for the teachers. This is when the teachers are setting the stage for the day. It might be a quick lesson. It might be a review of something. So please make sure you're there, because the teachers do take attendance. So if you're receiving attendance phone calls, anytime, so the attendance phone calls will go out in about 20 minutes. So if you get a phone call around that time, that means your child did not show up to class at all today, which means from 9 to 12:20, the teachers didn't see them. They didn't see them in class. Not that they didn't do work, but they just didn't see them checking for attendance. They didn't see them on video. They didn't check in with the Google Classroom stuff between 9 and 12:20, which was class time. Get the phone call. That's the only reason why you'll get it. That doesn't mean that they're not engaged. It just means that they didn't show up for a particular class that particular day. Okay, and definitely also check PupilPath, because the teachers update their attendance every day on PupilPath. So when you call Ms. Rouse and say, hey, why am I getting the phone call? That's the reason why you're getting a phone call. So today is May 20th. If your child was marked absent for all of their classes today, you're going to get a phone call home saying, hey, your child was marked absent today. Okay. That's something that definitely gets reversed, because we look at the engagement that happens afterward. We understand that there are different circumstances now. Some kids are actually working, supporting their families because of this whole COVID crisis. And we understand that, but we want to make sure the students know that they are still students, and they should still engage and do their schoolwork, because that's something that we want to do, be able to be successful and get a diploma. Ms. Rouse's phone number is there, like I mentioned, and her email is there listed. Okay, next slide, Mr. Chan, please. Okay, upcoming important dates. This Monday, finally, we have an actual day off. I know spring break was canceled because of this COVID crisis. So next Monday is Memorial Day. There is a day off. There is no school on Monday. That doesn't mean teachers won't give them homework to do or whatever. It just means that there's no school whatsoever. You're not going to get a phone call Monday night in terms of engagement. It's just, you're not going to get in touch with anybody. If you call Ms. Rouse, she's not going to pick up the phone. It's a holiday, so please understand that. If you email Mr. A, he's going to answer his email. That's all I do. I'm addicted to it. That's my problem. June 4th is Brooklyn Queens Day, or Anniversary Day that they renamed it. So that's another day off that the kids don't have. Teachers will be working that day, but um, no students are in attendance. June 12th, which is a Friday, is the last day of the third marking period. Uh, June 26th is the last day of school for the spring semester. And if your child has to be scheduled for summer school, which we'll talk about in a little bit, uh, that starts on July 13th, and it is remote. It is the same structure as what we have. Ms. White, please don't present. Okay. Next slide, Mr. Chan, please. Okay. So what has been occurring since May 7th or 8th, depending on which teacher you got in contact with, we have been doing virtual parent teacher conferences. I am hoping that the parents and you guys have been taking advantage of the parent teacher conferences. If you look at the slide itself, there's a little screenshot of what's on the school's website. And it's links to everyone's calendar. So you click on the calendar, you pick a time slot that's convenient for you or the teacher. And from there, you can pick a 10-minute time slot to talk to your teacher about grades. If there's an available slot right afterwards, maybe you can go extend a little longer, but pretty much you're limited to 10 minutes because you want to give time for all the other students. Um, so I'm hoping you are taking advantage of it. The last day to do it is 22nd, which is 2 days from now. But I'm hoping you're taking advantage of it. One thing that we encountered with the connection was that when you do this online, you get an email and the teachers get an email. That email is similar to the email that you received today for the invitation to the parent teacher conference. You have to click on the Google Hangouts link in order to connect. So I think what's happening is that you're waiting at that time, you're available, but you're expecting the teacher to call you. The teacher's in the room, the teacher's sitting there and waiting for you to kind of connect, to click on the link. Once you click on the link, you'll see the teacher there and they'll be ready for you. If that time doesn't work out, I know Ms. Kim, if you guys have Ms. Kim as a teacher, she has to put it in schedule anecdotes saying, hey, I tried to connect with this parent, they scheduled it, but they didn't show up. I'm going to call them and reschedule it and stuff. So make sure you click on the email where it says join here and click on that, and it'll actually join during the time allocated. So you have to kind of look at the time. So if your time is from 6 o'clock, or let's say 6 p.m. to time, click on the time, click on it at 6 p.m. or click on it right before. There's no one in the room, it's fine. The teacher would also join as well at the same time. When 6 o'clock pops up, you'll see the teacher there. Okay. So please take advantage of that. And I'm hoping you're doing that. If you have any questions, definitely speak to me afterwards and we'll try to work it out. I know yesterday a parent brought up the fact that the one of the links was not correct. We corrected it on the website this morning. And the other one, the teacher did not have any dates on their calendar. I emailed the teacher. The teacher opened up some more dates to accommodate the meeting. So definitely, Mr. Nana, I know he's online. He apologizes for for having the wrong link. So he wants to be accommodated as much as possible. So definitely reach out to him if you have Mr. Nana, because he was the one with the bad link. So definitely reach out to him. Okay. Next slide, Mr. Chan, please. Okay. So one big thing, and I want to take a little bit of time on this, and I think I definitely want to open it up for questions right after I go over this, just in case, because this is very important. This is the big change that the chancellor rolled out. I know we were talking about remote learning, that we're in the structure. What does that look like? So the big thing, and we're going to start backwards. We're going to start with the failing grades and go all the way up to passing grades and then go from there. So this is something that's shared with us, and it's on the website as well, but it's not the parent facing one is not as detailed. So I want to give you what we see as administrators and teachers. So let's start with the failing grades. We just ended second market period a couple of weeks ago. This is why we're doing the parent teacher conferences to try to get the students back on track. If the student does fail, you are gonna see a failing grade. I want to make that clear. You're gonna see, if they don't deserve the pass, they didn't do enough work, whatever it is, see the 55 on there. Okay. Same thing for third market period. Third market period is over on June 12th. If the child is failing, you're going to see the 55 there. The way we do grading at Westinghouse is that we average the 3 marking periods to come up with a final grade, which is the and marking period 4, which is on the transcript. So let's say you get a 90 first marking period, a 55, and a 55. There's a good chance you get a 65 for the course because that 90 sort of carried you all the way through. It's not great because that means you just sort of stop doing work, you stop doing stuff throughout the rest of the school year. Uh, but the 90 did help you because you did so well the first marking period. The flip side can happen as well, where if you get a 55 the first marking period, 55 the second marking period, and you get a 90 the third marking period, then you average it all up, and again you'll get like a 66 when it averages out, and you'll pass the course. Um, but let's say for example the child still didn't do anything and they failed. Now it's time to put the final grade in the transcript. What the chancellor is saying throughout the remote learning structure for equity, which is very, very fair, no matter who you ask, it's very fair. Um, it's a different scenario. It's totally different. We just rip you out of the school and say, hey, okay, in 2 weeks we're going to make you guys just do a lot more autonomous or sort of individual learning. Teachers are going to be available a little bit less than they were before, but they're going to be available for office hours for individual instruction. But again, the structure is all different. Plus, we're going to have you take your schooling in your house where you may not have a comfortable place to work. Right now, I'm sitting in my basement because everyone's home. My little guy's running around screaming like a maniac, and we don't want to be upstairs. And it's like dinner time, so I want to move around. I'm in my messy basement downstairs. I'm sitting on the futon. So I don't have a home office. I used to have one, but I now moved out and whatever it is, and I no longer have a home office in this space. So if I don't have one, I don't expect anybody else to have one either. If you have one, great. You know what? Kudos to you. My back is killing me. I've been sitting for a month and a half on a couch where you think it's comfortable, but it's really not because couches are not really meant to be sat on for 8 hours straight without kind of moving. So anyway, so we're asking students the same thing. So it's not really fair. So the chancellor says we're not going to allow any failing grades to occur in the learning structure. Instead, we're going to take the failing grade and convert it to something called a continuation grade or to be continued grade, and we're going to classify it as something called NX, and like Nancy, X like X-ray. And what that means is that yes, the course will continue, which means you have an opportunity to make up all the work that you missed over the summer and beyond. And the deadline to turn the NX grade into a passing grade is January of 2021. So not January 20th of 2021, it's January that end of the school, whatever the last day of that semester is. So if you went to college and you've unfortunately one of your courses, pretty much they give you a deadline to turn that incomplete into a different grade, or else that grade eventually turns into an F on your transcript. So it's similar to like that in high school, where that NX grade, if you don't take care of it, eventually it will turn into a failing grade, which will be indicated as an NC, and like Nancy, C like Charlie. So eventually, if you don't do anything, you're going to fail the course, and we don't want that to happen. So long story short, you're not going to, if you're going to fail the course, you're not going to see a failing grade on your transcript. You're going to see an NX instead. What that means is that you're going to make it up, and we're going to take the work. It's not a brand new course. We're going to take the work, and it's going to continue. And you're going to be invited to summer school. You're going to be expected to do this over the summer so that you can make it up. It might be a big term paper. It may be a lot of work. It may be something that you just couldn't do it because you were working and you had to support your family due to this crisis because no one else, maybe you had a job that made you an essential worker, and your parents have a job that doesn't make an essential worker, and they kind of unfortunately got laid off, and it happens, and it's a really traumatic situation, and you're trying to help out, which we get. So we want to make sure we continue on, but you're going to make up everything that you're responsible for, and we're going to give you the opportunity to do so. So that's why the NX grade will be there instead of a 55 during market period 4. So market period 1, 2, 3, you can see failing grades. This is give you an idea of where you stand in the course. And then at the end, if that average turns into a grade, then it's not going to be allowed. It's going to be turned into an NX. And then you work with the individual teacher to figure out, okay, what do I have to do to pass the course? Okay. We are going to have an opportunity at the end of the third market period to try to grade recover, but it's a very short window because the end of the semester is June 26th. So we have about 2 weeks to kind of make up that grade, if possible. Don't count on that time, please, because if you're just sort of sitting back and mom's home, mom's out working, dad's out working, parents, nobody's home, and you're sitting back and you're playing PlayStation for 8, 9 hours out of the day when your parent or guardian's out there making money, supporting you, and coming back, and they come home and the garbage isn't thrown out, the dishes aren't washed, and you haven't done anything in the house, and you just sit back playing PlayStation, then you're cheating yourself, and that's not fair. You're still going to get the NX because you didn't do anything in terms of the course, but then you're going to have a lot more work to make up as opposed to somebody who may be missing a term paper or something like that. So keep that in mind. So that's the NX thing. And then going forward, any passing grade now, 65 all the way up, will pop up in the transcript as a numeric grade. But you as parents also have a choice whether you want that numeric grade to show up on your transcript. So let's say, you have 8 courses on your schedule, and you see 90, 99, then you see this one ugly 65 on your report card. You as a parent can send an email to me saying, hey, I don't want that 65 to show up on my child's transcript. Can you change that? I would say, yes, I'm not going to change the 65, but I'm going to reverse it and I'm going to replace it with a CR. It's going to be there showing that you earn course credit, but that CR is not going to get averaged into your transcript. So that's a benefit. And you can pick and choose which courses you want to show up as CR or numeric grades. You can take half the courses and leave them as numeric because they're beautiful 90s or better, or you can say, you know what, and these other courses, maybe I'm not the strongest math student, and I've always been getting 65. So that's a one benefit. You can say that 65 I don't want to get. But again, this is only in effect for the last market period, which is market period 4, the final grade. That's the only time you can say, I don't want the numeric grade to pop up. I want a CR instead. And again, this only applies for passing grade. If you're failing, you're going to see NX, and then when that NX gets resolved, it's going to be resolved to a passing grade, and then you have a choice then to change it. And then afterwards, if the NX never gets resolved, it turns into an NC, and then that sort of stays on there. But the NC does get averaged in. It's treated as a 55, and that gets averaged into your transcript. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for a second. If you guys have any questions, just one at a time, please. If you can unmute yourself, and then you can ask your question. If not, I'll move on. Wow, I explained that very well. No questions, huh? You guys are amazing. Can you guys all hear me? Thumbs up, I guess. Okay. Let me just check the chat really quickly, just in case. Okay. I don't see anything in chat in terms of questions.
Hello?
Yes, yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Miss Samuels, Tristan's mom.
Hi.
Tristan is here with me. I'm trying to figure out, I'm listening to what you're saying about the classes and the grading, but we've had some serious setbacks in our house, and I'm still haven't been able to register for the parent-teacher conferences. How do I do that now with only 2 days left?
You definitely can. So I'm going to link the direct link to the parent-teacher conference in chat. If you just click on it, it'll be on the website. It's if you ever go to the website, westhillshs.org, you go to the For Parents section, and under there, there's a parent-teacher conference link. There's still some time, and if you can't, parent-teacher conferences is sort of it's something the teachers have to do, and they have to kind of work out a time that's mutually convenient for both you and the teacher. But they have that window up to the 22nd. But they're also available during office hours from 1 to 2:30 every day, from 1:10 to 2:30 every day. So you can always request that time as well. But we're trying to do it quickly because, if you wait until June June 11th for parent-teacher conference and the end of market period is the next day, how much of an impact are we going to have in supporting your child, if with a day left of the market period. So just the calendar, the time still moves forward, but that's why we try to do as quick as possible. So we have a 2-week window in which we're offering the opportunity to consult with the teachers and say, hey, this is what your child is, this is what I need in order for you to be successful in my course. This is what I'm not seeing, or this is how we can improve. That's the idea. Does that answer your question?
Yes, a little.
Okay.
Also, I know I heard what you said about the grading policy for the students who were not able to complete the work. And like you said, if there's circumstances where the child is unable to complete the work, they'll be given an opportunity to finish.
Yes.
Um,
With no
that would
penalty, with zero penalty. Just want to put it out there, no penalty whatsoever. We put a deadline every day of work to be submitted by 11 p.m. But think about that. Like, imagine asking teachers to grade a semester's worth of work in a short time span. So we want to be fair to the teachers as well, because they still have to go back and grade the work. But there is going to be no penalty in terms of students submitting late assignments. But what I'm going to ask is be strategic with the work, is that you do something more current. Let's say you're behind on 1 or 2 assignments, do that first. Or you're behind like a bunch of assignments, do the most current one first so you can be on track with what the teacher's teaching. And just work on the older assignments. So if you do, let's say if you have English and you owe 10 assignments, give the teacher 2 assignments a day, one current and 1 old. So at least it breaks it up a little bit. And I'm sorry for cutting you off.
It's okay. Tristan is here. I want him to hear what you're saying, because I'm a little worried that he's fallen behind because I haven't been able to be a active participant in his education like I used to be. This last 2.5 months have been extremely difficult, but I think he is putting in a good effort. So I just wanted him to hear you and say that.
So, again, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. We get it. And this is a totally, totally, totally strange situation for everybody. It's not something that's expected, and we have to be understanding across the board. And I'm very understanding. The first couple of days I was a little more unrelenting, a little, sort of in terms of my mindset. But as I'm progressing through this thing every single day, I say, you know what, things are happening, and we don't realize what's happening at home. We don't realize the type of situations that our families and our students are going through, and we don't know. And it's not to make an excuse for people, but just to understand that they're trying. It's not like they don't want to try. It's just that maybe it's impossible at this point. And that's why the chancellor said, you know what, no failing. Eventually it's going to happen that we're going to have to, do the work, because it's going to keep putting us behind. But you want to give that deadline of the end of January. I have to warn you, if you wait until the end of January to do the work and complete the work, if the Regents course culminates in the Regents, then that Regents waiver is out the window, which I'm going to talk about next. So we want to make sure, if you're taking a Regents course, if you're taking a course to complete it, in order to get the Regents waiver, you have to complete the course by the end of August in order to get the waiver. So I got to be very, very clear on that. So, if you're failing a lot of courses, then maybe we're going to be strategic over the summer and make sure we focus on the Regents courses so that we get the waiver, and then the other ones we'll figure out as the fall semester kicks in, and we'll figure that out. So we're going to put your child, every child, in the best situation to be successful, but we also need their cooperation. I call kids personally. Some kids have my phone, like I took them under my wing, and I'm calling, and now they're ignoring my calls, and there's no reason why that they can't be in school, because I spoke to the parent. They were all saying the same thing. So these are real situations, but sometimes you have to have a little tough love too. Let's not delay the inevitable. Let's get ourselves completed. Let's get ourselves progressing. Let's get ourselves out of high school. So that's the idea. So I know I'm hearing you. I hear that Tristan wants to help. Listen, we can contact him tomorrow, come over the plan, and go for there. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. Any other last minute questions? Because I want to move on. No, you guys are great. Okay, Mr. Chan, you want to go to the next slide, please? Okay, so like I mentioned, the region exam have been canceled also for August. So pretty much the same rules would apply. You have to complete the course. Any course that only culminates in regions. You can skip next slide too, also, Mr. Chan. Okay, so I want to just one little change that they alert us about, which isn't a big thing. Just want to let you guys know. So if you're a ninth grade parent, this is very important to understand. Uh, we always give the ninth grade students 4 credits of math because we want to support, they want to ensure that they pass the math regions the first time around. So in order for them to get a regents waiver, they have to have all 4 math courses passed on their transcript to show that okay, they completed the course and they'll get the regents waiver. If we can't show all 4 of them, then they won't let us do the waiver on the transcript. So you may get invited to summer school to complete, let's say, MES, S like Sam, 34 because maybe you didn't pass it. So the way we do is that if you pass Algebra 1 and 2, MES 41 and 42, then you passed it. Or if you failed the first semester, you probably failed both courses, and we're gonna have to have you make up the second part of that course. We thought it was just the second semester, the ending part that culminates in reads. They said no, you got to complete the whole course. So that's the one change. Um, the so most ninth graders have four classes of math to first semester to the second semester. If you look at your schedule on pupil path, you'll see MES 33 and 34. I'm sorry, 34 and 44 on your schedule now. You're gonna make sure, if you pass one, you're gonna pass the other one because they're a double period. Um, so we just gotta make sure we pass the fall semester ones. ELA, their change from the state, they said you have to, most schools offer the ELA regions at the end of the 11th grade. So after you offer English 6. We offer it after the 10th grade. So after you do English 4, we feel the students have learned enough of the standards to pass the English regions, and we do fairly well in the English regions every year. We have a group of ninth graders, the honors ninth graders, who do take the regions at the end of ninth grade. So we do that historically. So it's on our course syllabus. So we're going to just sort of send that argument up to the state and the auditors in case they question why you're giving Joe Arzwaga the Regents waiver for English after he completed the 10th grade when you need 2 more credits. We're going to show the syllabus and we should be okay. We just have to make sure that all students who want the Regents waiver at the end of 10th grade have passed English 1, 2, 3, and 4, or if they're in the honors track where it says EES 81 and 82 and it ends with an H like Harry, they pass both of those courses in order to get the Regents waiver. So we should be on target for that. We shouldn't have a problem, but I just want to give you guys a heads up. The one anomaly, which is weird, is that they're only looking for Global 3 and 4. So it's very possible a student may have failed Global 1 in 9th grade and they're a 10th grader and they're passing 3 and 4. As long as they pass Global 3 and 4, they're going to get the Regents waiver at the end of June. That's the one anomaly which I don't understand, but you know what? I'm not going to argue it. Let's just leave it as is. And any science course, we do a 2-semester science course. So all of our courses start with 2. So whatever the 1, 2, 3, the 4th character always starts with a 2, and then the 5th character in that whole code is either 1 or 2. 1 mean the fall semester, 2 mean the spring semester. So as long as they pass both of those courses, they'll get the Regents waiver for all the other courses that we have on that culminate in the Regents. So just want to put that out there for you guys. Any questions on that before I move on? No, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Mr. Chan, go to the next slide. Okay. And it just talks about Regents exam waiver. So if you're a student who, you should have passed it when you took it the first time, but you didn't do so when you passed the courses, as long as you showed intent to take it, like we scheduled you retook it. If you show that you took it in last June, last August, or this past January, then you'll get the waiver for this year. And we mentioned that, so I want to put that. I made that font a little bit bigger, just so you guys know that's the last bullet on that slide. That's very important. As long as we can show that you've taken it at least last June, we can show the intent to retake it again. And we show that we always, any kid who fails at Regents, or the following semester, or we give them some time tutoring session where you have attendance sheets and stuff. So we have that as well. Okay, let's check next slide, please. Okay. Oh, that's pretty much related to safety. You can take that, please. Okay. On our website, I know there's a probably here. There's a new, disease that's floating around. Same virus is a disease, so disease or bacteria is something that can be treated. But we want to give you guys a on it. They've been noticing that minors have been contracted, especially minors who are under. But they said anyone age 22 and under can kind of get this. This is something that is rare, but they found a couple of cases in the city. They want to make you guys aware of it. So that's something I want to. As soon as you go on westcountyhs.org, the first thing you'll see is that MISC article, and some symptoms that you'll see there is bulleted. So I can read the symptoms to you, but definitely keep an eye on it. Look at the web. The FAQ is there. Just out of question, they don't know if it's COVID related or not, but I think that's kind of maybe just sort of a coincidence that this thing is popping up. Very rare cases.
Mr. Arzwaga.
Yes.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit, just so you know.
I apologize. To repeat something again, what should I repeat? Maybe it's the headphones. Hang on.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hi. This is Miss Edwards, Leah's mother. I wanted to say that I'm one of the parents who's yet to log in to the different conferences for the teachers, and it's about to be finished on the 22nd because all the teachers have themselves late in the afternoon. So how are we supposed to get through with all the different 8 teachers and 8 subjects if everybody have itself for 3 and 4 in the afternoon? It's not working out. I only got 3 spaces because everything is for the whole day. They're not available. They're only available for 3 and 4 in the afternoon. So how are we supposed to be able to have any PTA meeting with the teachers if there's no time available?
Mr. Arzwaga, you're on mute.
He didn't hear me?
No, he hears you, but I heard. Sorry. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So what in that situation, you should email the teacher and say, hey, this time is not convenient for me. Is there another time that you're available? So there's time in the morning that 8 to 50 every day. They teach from 9 to 12:20, but there's a small part. There's 75 minutes during that time where they can be available for you in that morning session. They have a lunch from 1:10. I wouldn't touch that. But there is some time that they're available. You can also offer, say, hey, is there an evening time you can 10 minutes? They've got to kind of make themselves available for you. They have to work out a schedule. So send me an email. If you want to copy me on the email, great, so I can follow up. It's a very fair question that you can ask. But definitely ask that question. Say, hey, these times don't work for me because I have a scheduling conflict. I have another teacher and this thing is not working out. Is there another time that you can meet with me that's convenient for you that we can work out?
So there's no way that the parent-teacher conference could prolong maybe for until next week, Wednesday, so that I could actually get to speak to them?
Well, Mr. Arzwaga is saying is that in the afternoon from 1:10 to 2:50, usually the teachers are free. They either could be conferencing with students or they can be meeting with parents. So you can still meet with parents past the 22nd. You just want to email them and let them know the specific time you'd want to be able to talk to them.
During that
No,
time.
I can't do that. I have to go with the schedule. All their scheduled appointments is 3 and 4 o'clock, so I can't do what I want. I have to go with their schedule.
No, I hear what you're saying, Edwards. I hear what you're saying. So, but you can always switch. You can always email the teacher, say, hey, these times don't work. These are the times that work for me. Can you pick one that works for me? You can do that too. It's like we're giving you times that work for us.
So you can email her the teachers sometimes that work for you, and then you guys can come up with a match. How about that? So rather
Wow.
than sort of like rather than go back and forth in terms of, hey, this time doesn't work, but this, right, rather do that. Put some times that work for you, and then they can pick that. Okay? Does that make
Oh
sense?
yeah, I heard you. I heard you.
Okay, no problem. All right, so I apologize for breaking up, and probably the battery's probably dying. Missy, any questions on that? It's something that's on the website. Just want to give you guys a heads up. It's very rare, but you know what? Strange things that happen. Just keep an eye on it. There's the symptoms are there. Okay, keep going, Mr. Chan, please. Okay, senior meeting. I'm not going to address any senior events today. Tomorrow we have a meeting scheduled just for seniors because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, including senior dues, graduation, any other senior items. I'm going to address that all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. The link you guys received, it's a separate link. It's not this one. You guys received it. I'll send another email reminder and phone call. Just please, if you're a senior parent, any senior questions, they're going to be addressed tomorrow. Okay, Mr. Chan, go ahead. All right. So I mentioned student engagement already in terms of what we want for the students. You can go to the next slide, Mr. Chan. There are some screenshots that that's in the presentation that just in case you're a parent who's not very tech savvy, you can just look at the pictures and kind of see what's going on. As long as the child is logged in on their Westinghouse account, all the tools that they need in order to be successful is on that Chrome tab. It's very, very easy to use. Everything's there for them. Let's change to the next slide. We are having an issue with a small handful of kids who are either plagiarizing or they're sharing answers with their classmates. We had a discussion with the teachers. It's not acceptable. We all know that it's cheating. At the end of the day, it's straight up, it's cheating. We're asking parents to please support us. If we do call you, say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're seeing. Please speak to your child. We're going to give the child an opportunity to retake it or redo a different assignment that's similar to what we're assigned. But, if it keeps going and going and going, we're just not going to grade that particular assignment. And then that's going to turn into that next grade that you're going to have to kind of make it up over the summer. So don't think you're getting over by something by sort of copying something off the internet or by doing all the work, and then your friend calls you and you send them the email with all the work. It doesn't make sense. Please do your own work. Rather sort of get your work that's 100% wrong, but you've attempted it, that we can assess and see how we can support you, rather than you try to take somebody else's work and pass it over as your own. That's something that we are seeing, but we're seeing a small handful of kids. We are addressing it. No one's out to get your kid. No one's out to fail your student. Please remember that. But it is unacceptable if it keeps happening over and over again, especially when we say, hey, you're doing it again, you're doing it again. We do have software that we pass some of the papers through to see if they are copying off the internet or they're sort of having somebody else's work and stuff like that. So please keep that in mind, okay? Mr. Chan, next slide. Okay, so this is just a quick little screenshot of, so when the child logs into Westinghouse, they'll see that in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see the name there and like a little waffle icon. And there's all the ways. There's the main icon for students to check email every day, the drive where they can save all of their work, the Hangouts, the little thing with the camera, the icon with the camera on there. That's for the video chatting. The Google Classroom, which is very important. The next slide will show you that. And all the other features. They have Google Docs, which is like Word. We have Spreadsheets, which is like Excel. We have Slides, which is like PowerPoint, so on and so forth. Also, the very important one is Calendar. You may be inviting students to an event, and they have to check their calendar to get the event. So please make sure they check the calendar just like your calendar on your iPhone or your Android device. So please keep that in mind. Mr. Chan, next slide, please. Okay, this is what Google Classroom looks like for your child. They click on it. They'll see the work there. So if they're missing anything, they can go in there. The stream is in there. Teachers aren't removing any work. It's all in there. Mr. Chan, next slide. So when they go into Google Classroom during the class time, just keep this in mind, during the class time. So let's say you have a first grade class that's from 9 a.m. to 9:25 p.m. The teacher will enable the Hangout Meets link, which you'll see in the ribbon there or it might be, if you have like Mr. Duffy, they have their own specific nickname for it. But for the most part, most teachers just have a direct link. They can click on the link and they'll go in. If they're there at 9:26, the class is over. So I get an email all the time, hey, I was in the meet, but the teacher wasn't there. So, well, you were late, or the teacher isn't doing live instruction that day. That's their choice. That's something that is union. The DOE, they can pick and choose the days in which they're doing live teaching, but they are engaging every day. It's not like they can just post an assignment and go away. They are engaging either via chat, via email, whatever it is. They are available. They're still working. It's just that particular day, maybe we're not doing live instruction, we're doing smaller group instruction, or maybe it's just sort of in a sort of asynchronous type learning where I give you an assignment to do, like an ed puzzle thing, or something, a video to watch, and just I want you to submit something by the end of the day. You still have to check in to check your attendance. The teacher will check if you're in that day for that particular period, but for the most part, teachers are there doing live teaching. I pop into classrooms, and normally we have on average about 30 kids in the class. But when I pop into classrooms, I see about half that amount, which means that some of your children are not logging in. Either they're oversleeping or something's going on. Maybe they're working, they're, whatever commitment. We just need to understand what the situation is. If it's just that you're oversleeping, we're going to tell you, hey, get up out of bed. If it's something that you're working and you're committed, and we know that, and we have confirmation from you as a parent, then we share the information with the teacher, and then we understand, and we go from there. But understand, you guys, if they're working, they are still minors. They are still obligated, like the employer is still obligated to follow the child labor laws. So they're only allowed to work within a certain window of time. They're only allowed to work a certain number of hours. So they're not working 12 hours a day. It's not allowed as a minor. So we're not breaking law as well in terms of child labor. Okay, Mr. Chan, next slide. So that's a Hangout Meet thing, and then that's what the Hangout Meet window looks like. You guys seen it because you're all in this room, and then then we ask the students please mute themselves upon entry. Show your face for 2 seconds so that we know your teacher knows that it's you. It's not it's not your pet sitting there in class while you're sleeping. We want to make sure you're there, you're active, you're engaged and stuff. You want to take the camera down, that's fine. But be active. Every time I jump into a room, I'm always on camera because people want to see me. I know I'm not wearing a suit today. I haven't worn a suit since we switched to remote learning. I kind of miss them. I look in the closet every day, but I'm showing my face at least, and I get it. So if you want, great. It's a great little thing. You want to see a smile on your face and stuff like that. That'll be nice. Next slide, Mr. Chan. Okay. Remote learning survey, and this is going on. This is a good way to get your feedback. So Ms. Rouse has been sending out periodic messages. Please fill out the survey. It's very short. They're asking you how you feel about remote learning. Are you learning more, learning less? Those are the type of questions that we're asking in that survey. It's something that Chances sends us on Fridays. We look at that data, and we try to adjust instruction based on that data that's there. Okay, next slide, please. And if you don't have a device at this point, I've been asking every student, I've been encouraging them to get a device, even if you don't need one. You never know if your device is going to break down. It's a loaner. Remember that, it's a loaner. I give it back. But it's an iPad, a Chromebook. Unfortunately, it's an iPad, but it will have all of the apps that you need. It's also cell phone enabled. It's not like a hotspot thing. So it's going to work off of not your cell phone service, but T-Mobile's cell phone service. So if you have horrible service in your apartment, getting the device is not really going to help you, but you never know. If you want to take it, the weather's getting nicer. If you want to sit in the park and do your homework, great. You're out in the open. T-Mobile service is pretty good around the city. I had Sprint for years, so I know the difference. So T-Mobile is 100 times better than around the city than Sprint was. For me, from my experience, but inside my house, doesn't matter which service I have, for whatever reason, I don't get strong signal unless I'm next to a window. So that's the only thing that's the only drawback. It is going to be internet enabled. I'm not sure how much the data caps are. You're not paying for anything. It's a loaner, but request a device. You never know if your device is going to break down. The link is there. Whenever I send emails through my Westinghouse, the link is in my my signature. So click on it and just request a device. They send it out. They're pretty good with it. I've been seeing it. They've been sending it within 3 or 4 days that you guys kind of like you requested today, you might get it on Tuesday because of the holiday, whatever it is. But if you don't have one, definitely request one. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So we'll open up for questions. Again, just please keep the questions general, nothing very specific, and I'll be here. Any general questions, and then in about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to stop. Is the question?
Hello.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, for seniors who will be going on to college this year, how can they return the device back to you all?
We haven't received guidance on that. But I can tell you this really quick. I know I don't want to cover a lot of senior stuff, but they don't want us to. They're not going to allow us back in the building to work on diplomas. So we have to print diplomas, and it takes a while to print diplomas. So diplomas, unfortunately, will not be given to students until we return back to the building in September. Transcripts and stuff we can process. That's all electronic. In terms of returning devices, that might be the time where we'll return the device. When we'll give you the diploma, you give me my device, and we'll sort of trade. That works. They haven't given us guidance on that, even with students who are 9th graders who have a device. I don't know how that's going to work out. We don't know. That's a good question, though. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anyone else with questions? Okay, so I want to thank you guys for coming out. We'll do it again next month. We'll around this time, maybe a little earlier. We'll probably do it right before the market period's over. Actually, right after the market period's over. So the market period's over on the 12th. We'll probably do another parent meeting that following Wednesday. We'll look at. So if you want to just sort of tentatively put on your calendar, June 17th, we'll do the next parent meeting. So that's about a month from now. So keep that in mind. So I want to thank you guys for coming out. Again, my email is there all the time. Ms. Rouse is there. Phone number. We're here for you. Just reach out if anything. Thank you again for coming out. I appreciate you, and stay safe, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. I'm gonna stop.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.